See the screen.
What's that? Shove along a bit. Bloody hell. All right.
I don't bite.
I know you don't. Right. Are we ready just to kick off and get started?
Yeah, go for it.
Everybody listen to Off the Stage podcast, you
Oh, you probably haven't heard that one yet, have you? It's, Well, welcome back to Off the Stage podcast with your hosts James Berry and Conor Michael. We're here on a nice Wednesday, and our usual room's been taken over by a writers' club.
Voice, James.
What's that? I just feel
nobody talk.
I feel like isolated because we're closer to the mic here.
You say what you like. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah. We've. No, you're all right, mate. I'd stay around. That's all right. Honestly, we're sharing the room with some other people, but it's absolutely fine. It's a pub, so it's just keep talking, mate. It's absolutely fine.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi from the ISIS. Is that the first time you heard the new introduction?
Yeah, it is. I do watch most of the episodes.
When did we add it in? They're probably like.
One of our first ones was like number 4 or something.
No, the changeover.
Oh, the changeover.
Crazy Fingers.
No, that was the first one. Crazy Fingers.
Oh yeah, I watched the Crazy Fingers episode.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. Then.
Yeah,
2 weeks it's been going.
So what we've been doing is we've been trying to get little clips from trying to involve the guests a little bit more to be part
For
of
example,
that.
today we have part of humour, but as solo we have John Timney.
Yep.
Beforehand though, you said it was ebb.
Yeah.
Explain.
It's just a word. I get asked a lot what it stands for because, like, for example, it was just in Narc magazine and they put it in capitals, and then people think it's an acronym, but it's not. It's just a word.
I thought it was. This might be really. Actually, it is really daft. But I thought it was E flat.
Like,
I thought you were like really
D.
musical. Yeah.
That is the key of most of my songs.
Yeah. So.
That's a good one.
E flat.
No, I wanted like a one syllable thing, really, for various reasons. Like we thought Humour was a simple band name. It's 2 syllables, it's easy, but we get all sorts in that, mispronunciations, misunderstandings. So I was like, I'm just gonna have one word.
Yeah.
But then it's like, is it an acronym? What does it stand for? Yeah. So you can't win, can you?
No,
band
you can't
names.
at all. Well, what would the acronym be?
I hadn't thought about that.
Everyone swimming beats. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Your book.
I should have.
Oh, your book of incredibly long words.
Yeah.
Find that out in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we already recorded like the New Year special yesterday because we had a dropout.
Oh, right. Is that what you did?
So technically, this episode will come out next week. Am I right?
Yes, it will be. Yeah.
That'll be the 13th, I think. And the one we recorded is either going to come out the week before the New Year's or the week after.
Yeah. Which will work out good for you, which we'll talk about your release in the third part. But
right.
What we're drinking?
I've got
Liquid.
the cherry porter.
Oh, cherry porter.
Which is very strange. It's kind of like, it tastes like juice, but beer. It's nice.
It looks kind of like thick.
Yeah, it's like, it's one of those proper.
I think we're twinning.
Thick stouts.
We are, yeah. I didn't actually get the Fruity this time. This is a what's it called again?
No, I didn't know. It's a fruit of the forest.
Fruit
sour.
of the forest. Fruit of the forest. It's a sour. You know, we like our sours. My wife's got a Fruity, so don't worry. I did purchase a Fruity.
Coffee breakfast chocolate stout.
Coffee breakfast chocolate stout.
Aha, if you say so.
No, they're the best ones. Like the proper dark ones.
It's a coffee I just don't like. That's the only thing.
It just tastes like cold brew. It's so good.
I don't like coffee, but I like things that taste like coffee.
Oh, thank
like
God,
coffee,
another adult that
coffee,
doesn't like
chocolate,
coffee.
And I don't like actual coffee.
Went round to James yesterday to the podcast and they were having espresso martinis, but I had to pour a Guinness into a martini glass. It looked like it was espresso martini. You'll see that on the episode.
Well, to be fair, like I took one of the Guinnesses and I kept pouring it in the glass. I don't know why I didn't just drink it out the flipping can, but
just pouring a little bit at a time.
But it's weird because you've got this little tiny martini glass, and you're expecting it to taste like espresso martini,
There you go.
and then you get really confused because it starts tasting like Guinness. It's like,
Yeah. So obviously you're part of Yuma.
Yeah.
When you do your solo stuff, is it a similar sound? Is it a different genre? How would you
Oh, absolutely
differentiate?
different. Yeah. So Yuma's like folk and blues. My stuff's post rock.
Cool.
It's way different. So it's mostly a recording project. It's like big soundscapey, like guitar based music, really. So yeah, both mine and Shannon's solo things are total departures from Yuma. So
Yeah.
Yuma's like where we meet in the middle. You know.
Do you have a band with Ebb? Or is
No, it's a possibility in future. I keep getting asked if I'm ever going to do it, and I might at some point. But it's always, I've been doing it for years now, and it's always just been my creative venture that I do on the
Yeah,
side
it's-
of all the bands
Yeah.
that I'm in. You know.
it sounds cool. Like, I mean, I can see you get influences from loads of. I notice you get a load of people in to kind of sing different parts and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I do a
Just-
lot of collaborations,
Uh,
especially with vocalists, obviously, because I don't sing. So the new record that's coming out, Shannon's on 2 of the tracks. The last one, Bernie, was on track 1 of the last album.
So if you put a band, would you be a frontman on that? Or would you just have somebody else frontman it?
Be like the Steve
I
Vai, wouldn't
mean,
you?
in a post-rock band, there kind of is no frontman. So, like, I've thought about it, and the lineup would probably be like 6 people. There'd be like 3 guitars, drums, bass, and then someone doing some electronics and synths and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But no one person is the front in that, I guess. I would play guitar in it, probably one of the guitars.
Could be one of my questions, because you play every instrument, don't you?
Yeah.
From like didgeridoo to six-string sitars and stuff.
I can't play keys, and I can't play anything that you blow into. But I play everything on my
Anything that's got a
record.
string.
Yeah, anything with strings is fine. So, yeah, apart from the collaborations, I play all the stuff on
Yeah,
my
didn't we?
records.
Can you play a little keyboard though?
Probably play a
Terribly.
synthesizer one.
Yeah.
So whenever there's electronics and synths and that on my music, it's me on a little MIDI keyboard,
Yeah,
just playing terribly with one finger,
Yeah,
and then
that's-
fixing it in the MIDI roll.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's
Sounds
what
like
I
my
do.
recordings.
Yeah, it's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm trying to think what. You usually have loads of questions panned out with a laptop, don't you? And you didn't bring it today.
Sure did. We had a question, I believe, if I can find it. Because we put it on the socials to...
Oh,
we do
yeah.
this all the time, obviously, when we get someone on. We had a question from I'm a free tackle.
That's Connor.
Yeah, not me.
Mantra. Episode 10.
Yeah.
You can remember the episode numbers.
Yeah, I do.
How many riffs can you put into an album?
How many riffs?
That is the question we got. That's the
It's an
question.
interesting question. I mean, my albums are like 90% riffs, so I think quite a lot.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there's such a thing as too many, especially if you have good riffs. Like some of the tunes on the new record are like maybe 3, and then
Yeah.
it's like the textures that happen on top. But there's no point in just shoehorning more and more in.
Yeah, 'cause
even if you like have a lot.
You get a cool riff, you want to kind of repeat that.
Yeah,
riff, don't
it's
you?
how
a
you
bit
use
like-
it and how you bring it back and how you situate it in the song. And it is easy to get carried away with like variations and more riffs, which I do quite a lot. But
Imagine like post rock though. It's not like more was more. Is that like the?
a lot of the time, yeah, there's a lot of big endings, things like that. Big
Now, as someone
textures.
who knows very little about the music industry, which is myself, how would you describe post-rock genre?
So it's essentially instrumental rock music, but it's like kind of more often down tempo, like, and it's more about the big textures and that. Obviously, there's no focal point like in a traditional rock band with a singer.
That was
It's-
after me to ask the front man.
It's about the soundscape, the textures and that, which is mostly guitar textures, but I mean we'll talk about it a bit more. I use a lot of field recording, found sound stuff as well normally, whereas this last record is more guitar textures.
Yeah,
So,
that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Well, this is probably the most stupidest question I'll ask, but I'm assuming everything's being recorded in your studio.
Yeah,
I was going to ask that. Where do you record?
just in my home studio, me
Yeah.
and Shannon's music room.
Timney
So-
Timney Studios, where you'd find the single Espresso Martini song.
Yeah, that was recorded in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Still love that recording, mate.
So I was just getting a text from Ashley, even though she was right there and could ask us questions. Ashley, who sadly couldn't be here, asks, musically, who's your biggest inspiration for his your solo stuff? Actually, ask your own questions.
Yeah, the biggest inspiration thing's always hard because, you know, you're always listening to different things every week and so many different artists. But like within post-rock, I'm way into things like Mogwai, bands like that, Russian Circles for the riffs and that kind of thing. And then I listened to a lot more atmospheric ambient stuff like A Winged Victory for the Sullen and things like that. So it's kind of that all amalgamates in what I create, like from the riffs to the like string textures and things like that, you know.
Yeah.
I must say, it's not a genre I've ever gotten into. Mogwai, I've heard of them, but I've never actually. I couldn't tell you a song. I couldn't give you like a riff.
Yeah, they're probably one of the biggest names as well in post rock, and then it goes more obscure from there.
I say it's never like I hear a lot of like post rock bands. It's one genre I've never like. 'Cause I like rock, but I've never really gotten into post rock.
Yeah,
It's a bit like,
I just like music without lyrics. I like how it's got a bit more ambiguity.
Yeah, because
like,
you need to do more with the instruments itself than.
Yeah, that's it. And you can have a lot more because there's not a vocal that you can like step on the toes of.
You kind of need to replace the vocal and the story with more sound, don't you? So that definitely shows yours. Because I mean, whenever I've listened to your songs, everything's going on at like there's loads of stuff going on at once, and it's hard to kind of like. It's nice because you can listen to it again and again, and you can hear something.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's one thing that I do aim for. Is like it stands repeated listens because. Like especially in the big dense sections, you can pick out different lines, different things every time you listen to it, which is what I like in music. You know, it's something that you'll listen to like time after time and not get sick of it because there's a lot to listen for in it. You know,
is this a musician thing where? Because I think I've only twigged onto it since I got into the industry, where you can listen to a song and then listen to it again and go, oh, I've just heard like a different section of that song within the song. Oh, I've just heard like a very hidden backing vocal. Is that a thing to normal people, or is that because we're musicians and we know what we're listening out to?
I think if you record,
you're like, oh, there's the hop. That's a different track level.
I think
you get more interested in like those little things when you realise like the process of the recording process.
For sure, if you're into production, you notice a lot quicker what's going on and what everything's functioning as.
I've done that like loads when I'm in the car with Ashley and stuff, and like we had Avril Lavigne Skater Boy on a few months ago, and I was just going, yeah. She said, what are you doing? So there's like a small faint vocal line going, yeah. She said, what? I said, listen, turned over, she could just hear her go, yeah. She said, what? How did you pick that out? Like, you know, I can now hear them in different sections.
It's all stuff that affects you whether you realise it or not, but I think as a musician you pay more attention to that stuff. But then I do remember like before I was a musician, really when I was really young, just listening to stuff, I would still I'd pick sounds out and things that I could hear happening in there even if I didn't know what it was, you know. So I think even as a non-musician, like people probably still
it took me a while to like
click
actually
onto that stuff
to hear the bass in a lot of stuff, even though the bass should be the most. It took me a while, but I don't know whether it was just like I just assumed it was a different guitar when before I properly got into music.
Yeah.
When I started playing bass, I started recognising bass lines a lot easier. I used to just focus on the guitar riffs or the voice.
Yeah, I remember the same thing. And part of it, I think, was that back then, late 90s, early 2000s, everyone was listening on some crap stereo thing that you couldn't often hear the bass.
The compression was ridiculous. Because it was a show that I was. It was about like how terrible the charts got in like the late 90s, early 90s.
In the loudness wars.
The loudness wars, that's what they called us. But it was just like they competed on how loud it gets something, so they just compressed, saturated everything just until it's like because you know obviously the squiggly lines, the wave lines.
Until it's just
crushed. It was just flat. It was just a square block because it was so compressed so much. You couldn't hear anything really like. Every song sounded like a karaoke track.
Yeah, what's the one of the worst examples is the Chili Peppers album, isn't it? Californication.
Oh, don't tell Kat. She's like, what? How dare you?
Yeah, that's like one of the most crushed albums. Like if you hear the unmastered mix, it sounds way better.
That's Kat's favourite album.
It doesn't like say anything about the music. I mean, who was it? Rick Rubin, who crushed the life out of it.
But that was the trend, though, wasn't it? It was just like if you didn't do that, then you didn't get in the charts. That was basically
and
it.
It's kind of it doesn't matter as much now because streaming, they'll bring you they normalize. So if you make a really loud track, they'll bring it down anyway. So
Yeah.
there's no point in crushing your tracks because it'll just end up compressed and quiet. So
Yeah, and to be fair, you want as much good quality as possible because I mean they probably saturate the take down the quality of the song as well, don't they? Like with Spotify and stuff. So
Yeah.
it shows what Neil Young. Neil Young took his songs off
He took
Spotify
them.
because he wasn't happy with like the quality of the stream.
yeah, well, it's the digitization and probably the royalty payments.
Oh yeah, but that wouldn't help either. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, I like to think it was just the sound.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. What time?
It's 16 minutes, so
We get flushed in about 5 minutes out, can't we?
I reckon we're good. Yeah.
What else did you want to know, Ashley?
When it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. Oh, sorry.
If you could take credit for any song in the world, which one would it be and why?
If you could take any credit for any song in the world, what would it be and why?
Like somebody else's song.
So one
Yeah,
that
someone
you think
else's.
is just absolute, like a masterpiece. and
Just before we do that,
you could
James,
say
what are you gigging
you
Friday?
put it and you take credit for everything behind it. Which one would it
What?
be and why?
What are you gigging Friday?
Yeah, man, that's a difficult question.
The caboose.
Till? Sorry, we'll be 2
It's
seconds.
all right. I could give you time to think about it.
I don't know. What
It's just
seven?
never
And then
Oh yeah, I should be able to actually. Sorry, we'll just booting gigs live on air.
Still as well.
The podcast will have come out on Tuesday, but me and James have just gigged Filthy's Friday gone.
You could have waited just 5 minutes.
Nope.
Yeah.
I know exactly. You could have.
No, these things are important.
That could have waited. Anyway, what song would you?
So I'm going to go with an album rather than a song, I guess.
That's bold.
like-
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I would pick the album Hardcore Will Never Die But You Will by Mogwai, just for the reason that it's one of the first post-rock records that I got into. They kind of made me think, like, you don't need to sing, you don't need to sing it, you can just make this textured stuff. And like, because I'd always kind of written instrumentals but never did anything
Yeah.
serious with it. And then that album, it's just got such beautiful melodies, such good riffs, and that kind of made me realise that you can get away with just making a...
I imagine. I can understand why that's such an influence for someone who plays music really well, produces music really well, but doesn't sing, and because you don't have to rely on anyone else. You can just do
that was it, and that's where I
yeah.
kind of was like, I can just do my own thing, because obviously I do loads of other things as well, but this project is just exactly what I want to make, you know, without any other influence. So
I know that because I know exactly what feeling you had there. Because that's why I got into Bob Dylan, because I could write songs but I couldn't sing.
right.
So I was like, well, Bob Dylan can't really sing.
Yeah,
He can sing, but like he wasn't like the traditional.
Like you can sing though. You can
who-
probably sing better than Bob Dylan.
What I used to do was shout in key, and
Yeah.
eventually gained a tone, and then that turned into
And you
a
just
voice.
I
Yeah.
haven't played your Bob Dylan song in a while, you know. That's completely off topic, but like,
Oh, the Bob Dylan
it's one
song.
of my favourite songs you've got. I
haven't-
haven't. They just twigged. You didn't play that, did you?
I haven't taught the band it.
I don't know
So-
if I know that one.
Just be yourself, unless you can be like Bob Dylan.
Oh yeah,
it's
just
called,
be
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. No, I totally get that actually. Mine would be like I don't know what my song would be. What would I take credit for? I'd love to take credit for. I'd like to say, God, there's so many, isn't there?
See, I wouldn't want to take credit for something so complex, but that's only because I couldn't do anything that complex. Like, imagine taking credit for something and then someone going, right, now play that line.
Like, do it
And you go,
again.
I don't know how to Bohemian Rhapsody, sorry. I'd be like simplicity, like the JCB song from Nuzlocke.
It's quite humble.
It's a great song though, you
It's
know.
not as if like
That doesn't surprise me.
Perfect tune.
to be honest, it'd be like a
Shout out Nuzlocke if you want to come on the podcast and promote any future stuff. You know, drop us a message.
future stuff. He's only done one song, and it
It was an album,
was an album, always.
but it was the only song you've heard of.
Yeah, that's true.
But you come on the podcast and we'll promote the other songs.
Mine would be a Josh Ritter song, to be fair. Temptation of Adam, probably something like that. Just a cool little quirky song about a mummy who lives forever and always. Oh, the curse. Sorry, no, the curse. I wouldn't have the curse. God, I'm getting bloody Josh Ritter songs mixed up. Temptation of Adam is about two people falling in love in a underground bunker, and it's like the end of the world kind of stuff.
These all sound like songs you would write anyway.
Yeah, I know. That's why I mean. That's why I take credit for them. Like, they'd be credible, you know. It's like people would believe us.
Believable.
Yeah.
The only reason I know any of them songs is because of Scott.
Yeah,
I've
pretty
never
much
stopped
that.
doing them. I've never heard the originals.
It's got Kears could be in for a hat trick. You never know.
Well, do you
We've
know
had him
how
on twice?
Do you know how me and Scott got like really like know each other? It's because I sung a Josh Ritter song at a buskers night he was hosting, and he was singing a Josh Ritter song and I was singing along to it, and he was like, "How the hell do you know that? I flipping love Josh Ritter, man." He's like,
Well, no,
"Did
that's
we just
how you
become
met.
best friends?"
I just assumed you guys went to school together or something.
We did go to college, but we didn't really know each other in college. He was in like the year above us. So it was still years, you know. In college, you still hung around with your year group.
Yeah.
So like, and he left when I got to. But I was a bit of a hermit when I like
Poor
first
old
year of
Scott.
college.
I think Scott left college when I joined high school.
Probably.
What year did you leave
When I was
college?
joining college.
2004.
I started high school in 2005.
Oh my god, that is.
You know
sick.
what? That state. When Scott left college, I would have been in year 4.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
god.
It's
Now we're best pals.
I left school as he was basically starting like secondary school.
Don't say
I'm
that on
gonna-
a podcast.
I'm gonna
actually. People
send-
will disrespect you.
I'm gonna send that clip to Scott just to remind him how old he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's a
part
good part one. Yeah.
I've been brewing a question for part 2 for them.
All right.
Already.
Excellent. So I will get drinks maybe or not, but we'll do the drink sign. We'll be back for part 2.
And if James remembers to put my advertisement in, you'll find out all about my gig on the 28th of January. Hit the
Put it
button,
in anyway.
James.
Yeah. Hang on. It's D. Yeah.
You didn't put it in
Oh, hang on.
Tuesdays.
I missed the button again.
What's happening, guys? I'm headlining Little Buildings on the 28th of January. It's going to be £5 a ticket. James is currently checking the focus on the camera. At the minute, as I'm recording this, I have 25 tickets left out of a 60 capacity room. So hurry up and get yours. We've got Josh Hennigan and the Priters, our support acts. £5 a ticket for 3 musicians. You may as well fork out the money and come and see us live. It is going to be a great show. After I sell a certain amount of tickets there, I'm going to announce the next one in March. So I will see you there. Cheers. That's my thing.
I know.
Oh, does that mean I get it? Welcome back to Side B.
Yeah. Side 2.
Where you join me, James Berry, and Conor Michael. Oh, sorry, no, what was it? Is it? Welcome to Off the Stage podcast, where you're here with me, James Berry, and Conor Michael.
You know why I did that, right? It's quite like
Because you're not used to having a live lounge.
I'm not used to having other people in the room, and I felt very like self-conscious.
I get that.
lean in.
In the break, we started talking about James's best ever folk rock band out of Fulham, and then whilst we're mid-conversation, I went, "Hold on, guys, let's just record this." So let's just. James, you know what? Your band. When we saw it at HMV Live, fantastic. Generally think if you put like a massive push onto it, the band will fly off.
Well, I hope so. That's
Like, I was saying, Ashley, I think you'll end up taking off before I do. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to push for it. But you want to get like permanent band members in.
I've definitely got Vince. Vince
Look
is
at
definitely
festivals,
up for doing it. And I've
bands, Trillions, getting there. That'd be a great show.
mentioned. I mean, I've mentioned kind of your thing, trying to get at least one gig a month, one acoustic like originals gig a month with the
1st of
band.
April, the Bunker Sunderland, it's coming.
Yeah, that's I still need to tell Vince that, actually.
He doesn't know.
But yeah, but Vince is definitely up. So I've definitely got a drummer, which, by the way, is the hardest thing to pin down. A drummer who is only committed to one. I mean, I know he's in a wedding band playing guitar and stuff like that.
But one
he's-
originals band. That's,
One originals
yeah,
band.
it's the right thing.
He's a drummer, but he's not. He is a drummer, actually. Yeah, you are a drummer, Vince, because I know you watch.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah,
He's a good drummer.
he's a really good drummer. He's supposed to be practicing and stuff, but obviously he's a guitar player,
Yeah.
and he's wanting to get into drums.
Yeah.
So it's just something different, you know. I don't know. I need to just push it. I need to kind of ask. Festivals is the way to go, isn't it?
Festivals and
I think the
sports
music's suited to it as well. You go down really well at
Yeah.
pretty much any
Yeah,
festival.
but try to make like fun, upbeat songs
Yeah.
that everyone can
Because like I say,
kinda
it's
enjoy.
folk rock, so the folk side of it kind of fits in a lot of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
considering mine's quite pop indie singer-songwriter, but it would still work as a support slot. Whereas the likes of Twister, who we've had on before, kind of your rock vibe, it would still kind of fit as a support slot.
Yeah,
it's got that kind of.
It's got to try. Yeah, trying to like. It's I keep
Stevie,
saying,
I know you're not listening, but if you walk, James is on a gig.
I keep saying it's not folk rock, it's folk and rock.
Yeah.
So I've got folky bits
It's a
and
good
I've got rock
mix.
bits, and it's kind of that little amalgamation.
It's very like Blink meets Simple Plan meets like
Yes.
Going for Soup sort of thing. And I was proper vibing it. I mean, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it was proper dad rock, dad punk rock.
yeah. I'm trying to fit into like my age group as well.
Yeah.
Trying to sing like just daft songs that are not like, because the one thing about calling yourself pop punk, it's a very young thing. I always think, or maybe it's not anymore. Maybe.
Do you think you're too old for
Yeah, it is.
No, because pop punks came back with Blink-182.
Yeah.
It's just hit the right time.
It's making a comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop punk was like a massive thing, like when we were younger. Like,
It was, yeah, it
back
was-
in like the late
it was
90s,
the thing,
early
yeah.
90s and stuff. And when you think of pop punk, you do think of the likes of Blink and
Yeah.
like Simple Plan and Bowling for Soup and all of that, and they're making a comeback. Like all of them are doing like reunion tours and stuff.
Yeah, I know, that's
Making
true,
a
aye.
big comeback. And
I could probably capitalise
Yeah,
on that.
capitalise on
actually,
that.
I reckon you should drop Blink a message and go, look, can I do a 20-minute sport slot?
Yeah. So who are you? So we're the best ever folk rock band out of Full. I know who you are, but no, I know what you are, but what you called? No, we are the best ever folk rock band out of Full. I know you're the best ever folk rock band out of Full, but what's your name? Anyway, silly joke.
So yeah, and in 2023, James is going to take off, and
Yeah.
then I'll have to find a new co-host for the podcast because he'll be big and famous, and
Yes.
you know,
Nobody
sex, drugs,
likes
and
you
rock
when
and
you're
roll.
2023.
But back to the pod. So part two, we normally do like scenarios and stuff. How well do you know the local music scene?
I'd say fairly well.
Cool, because we did something yesterday on the pod, which was the Spotify wrapped up thing came up.
Oh, yeah.
And I repeat it again. We had 70 people have us in their top 10, top 5.
Yeah.
That's
top
good.
5 podcasts
That's
on Spotify
Yeah.
for half a year. Really good.
Yeah.
And then the wrapped up thing came up, and it's like my headlines were Conor Michael, Ed Sheeran, Scott Kears. If you had to make a festival of say 5 opening acts, 3 main acts, and then 1 headline act of the local scene, who would your festival be?
That's a good question.
I don't know my answer yet because I was just brewing that in the first
Yeah.
part, but
Well, the best ever folk rock band out of Fulwell would obviously be on.
he would be in my main
Loaded.
slot, definitely.
Thank you. Honestly, considering I've only done 2 gigs, it's be like Panic at the Disco, except like, you know, because they famously never played a single gig, did they? Signed.
Really?
Aye, apparently.
Didn't
I think
know
that's
that.
the story, yeah. They never played a
They
gig.
got signed just off a record.
I think so, yeah.
Oh,
Just people thought, oh, these guys are good. I think that was that
So just got famous on the internet.
got famous on the internet.
Yeah. Oh, was that like the MySpace era?
Must have
where
been,
they-
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just like a rock version of Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
That what we're
pretty
saying.
much.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Sorry,
it.
break your heart, Ashley.
Very hard, wouldn't you?
No, I meant comparing them to Justin Bieber.
Well, yeah, that's class. Yeah.
I think, and I know I'm pals with Stevie, but Twister would be my headline.
Yeah, because they
Twister are a good band.
Twister are like live or unbelievable.
not only are they good live, like the light shows and stuff like that. They know how to
Everything
put on a
about it.
show, so it's
Yeah.
like so they would put on a good show.
Like, that's what I plan next year is to obviously the work on the tours. Now, I'm
Yeah.
speaking with Stevie, but how do I make like the little details better?
Yeah.
So just get tube lighting and pick a song you want different colours for. Like blue lights normally mean like stages is vacant, and then you can change
program
them
it
for
into
you.
a laptop as well, so you can.
Yeah, have them change as you go.
Yeah.
I want to get to the point where, you know, when I'm like bashing the guitar on the loop pedal and the drums
Yeah.
come through, where the lights start spurting out per hit.
Oh
And
yeah.
try and figure out how to do that.
You
Yes.
can get specific like strobe lights that have a little mic sensitivity.
Yeah,
mic
some of
when
them
you
are
figure out
sound
when
when you
active.
hit it, yeah.
I just need to
Yeah.
figure out where to get them and how much they are.
Yeah, John will know.
Yeah, I'll mess you after this. Yeah, like opening acts. I'm going to take me out of this because, you know, obviously
Yeah.
I'm headlining after Twister.
I can't headline myself either. For me. It's a tough one actually because I'm assuming it's just going to be just like a Glastonbury style
Let's say
glass
we did.
glass on berry. Really stupid joke.
I
that
was
is.
going to say we're doing off the stage fest, but
Yeah.
yes, glass on berry.
Glass on berry, where it's like multi-genre, artsy kind of stuff. I don't know who I'd have actually. Like the headline act.
I would have picked Elizabethtown at some point.
Yeah,
I
I
know
was
it's
gonna
just
say you
close to
have
you
to say
guys,
Elizabethtown.
but your front man is no longer local.
Yeah.
It's 3,000 miles away, so Scott fucked that up.
Just be like a Zoom call to Scott in America. Elizabeth.
Just put his face on a robot.
Just have like a little laptop on a chair at the front of the stage.
But if we'd count that, I'd put Elizabethtown up as a main act. Sorry, James, you're doing 2 gigs in that festival for us.
Well, to be honest, like
Which also they did support Twister. So
they
my
did,
festival is working really well
Yeah.
in connections.
so I'd have the top. It was actually, funny enough, he was on my Spotify rap thing anyway. Josh Hennigan.
Yes,
Yeah,
Josh is good.
Absolutely, I
Josh
love
is supporting me in January.
Yeah.
Tickets.
I'll have to try. You know what? I'll have to try and make it along that. I might try and.
Cancel
'Cause
that gig,
I've got a Red Winds gig.
Where
I
you
don't
playing?
think any of the Red
Little
Winds
Buildings.
listen to the podcast, so
28th January. And
so I could just openly say I might cancel that gig.
it starts. I started booking myself on a tour by mistake.
All right. It happens sometimes.
Because I just said I was going to do a minimum of an originals gig a month just to keep
Yeah.
that going.
Yeah.
And then before I know it, I'm now doing Newcastle, Whitley Bay, Sunderland, York, and Birmingham.
Cool.
We're in talks in Nottingham and Sheffield.
Yeah.
But just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Just
So
spiral.
starting Little Buildings, the only one that's announced yet. Everyone who watches the podcast knows the dates because I just spout them out every episode. But yeah, so I've got Josh Hayes and the Priters as support as well.
Yeah, I like the Priters.
My
Have you ever heard of them
challenge is-
before?
Yeah.
Priters.
I think they were episode 15. I might just be guessing.
Maybe, yeah. I know fine well, because
It was
I guess, man, yeah, this was this table that we had it. Yeah. It's just shows how busy the Isis pub in Sunderland gets.
Too busy.
Too busy.
Give us our room back.
Hopefully, anyway, because we need to do a live lounge number. And we need power
sort
for
something out.
it. Yeah. I will work something out. Why?
Sam Shields would be one of my
Oh
open
yeah,
acts.
that's a good shout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I
I've
like
seen
Sam.
Sam many times acoustically, and he's brilliant. And then we were looking, because with the minute every Monday we do a song of the week, and I picked his what's it called? Too Good For Me, I think it's called. And I played it, and I was like, oh, this has got a bit more oomph behind it, and it wasn't just an acoustic; it was a proper country
the band
rock, a
on
proper
the
banger. I'm like,
recordings,
oh. I tell you what, this was it was a good change. Like, I like both versions of the song.
Yeah.
There's not many artists you'll get I like that version and that version. You kind of like one or the other.
Yeah.
I like the acoustic, I don't like that way, etc. But Sam would be in my opener acts.
Yeah,
It'd
it's
be
a really
little
good song,
crowd
right?
opener.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I tell you who else I'd have, which I quite like, which we need to get on the podcast. Actually, I need to ask because he's depped drums for us a few times. Charlie, who plays drums, and Swine Tax.
Right. I
They're
don't think
cool
I've heard
little
the band name.
I think they class themselves post-punk. There's a lot of
Yeah.
post things. Like I don't understand what the word post means with a lot of these things, but I guess it's just like alternative. Is it alternative?
It's more like after, like
After, yeah,
following on from or building on top of.
influenced
like-
by, but not exactly.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
sort of what post-punk is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, they class themselves. I mean, I think there's some songs that I quite like from them. Should definitely have them.
I just got a text of Ashley telling us to shut up because I asked John the question and we've just answered.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, that's a good
It was
point.
more of a conversation.
Yeah. Thank you.
Get caught off in tangents. Yeah.
That's
Have you
what terrible at that album, honestly.
who would be your headline? Who in the North East you reckon would be festival headliner?
I mean, there's so many you could pick. Twister's a good shout as just like an energetic band. But I mean, there's so many people you say, like Marty, the Lake Poets. You know, he's always he draws a big crowd. He's at the other end of the spectrum, really. He's first thing that comes to mind for Sunderland, at least, like specifically Sunderland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like the. Well, I mean, he was on his song was on Sunderland Till I Die, wasn't it? So it's
Oh, is it?
so that's the Lake Poets.
Ah, mint.
I had a gig with Shona filmed for that, and then I don't think it made the final cut. I haven't watched it, so I don't actually know.
I
But
saw them in the Blue Bell, like filming in the Blue Bell one time with the crew. I don't think that made the that didn't
I
make
can't
the
think where
cut
we were
either.
playing. I think it was the Broadway.
That's a shame. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Imagine that being like immortalised on Netflix. You're just like Humour
Like-
as seen on Netflix.
Yeah, I didn't really want to be on, to be honest. They like came and put a Sunderland scarf on me and that, and I was like, I'm not even from Sunderland. I don't watch the football.
Oh, the Broadway, where's that again? I've heard a lot. Does that still go on the Broadway?
It's just he's let the lease go because he's moving venues.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it was always a nice little gig. Though.
Right. Anyway, who else would you have? Lakeport is a good shout, mind.
I've got a band called the Avalons would be my openers as well.
The Avalons,
They were our first Song of the Week band.
Oh, right. We haven't had them on either, have we?
I will work on it. They're currently working with Jack's podcast.
It's a survival
right.
podcast.
Yeah,
It is now. Jack, if you're watching, like this video and I'll add you in the main support. Jack's really good, to be fair. I've seen it. Me and Ashley went to see him live on his EP release. It's again, Sam Shields was supporting,
Yeah.
but the band's really good.
Yeah.
Too many cover songs in there, but the originals were like spot on.
Yeah.
Sound really good.
Practices a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a total opposite of me.
I've got a gig at HMV Metro Centre this Saturday. Not even thought of what I'm playing.
Oh, well, you know.
Home will be in there because you know
You'll probably write a song mid.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Put a beat on the loop pedal and go, right, here's some words.
Anyway.
I did a release gig in Beyond when I released my last single, and I thought it'd be a smart idea to write a complete new set list so that people who've seen my show would see something
Yeah,
new,
like it's fresh.
or at least half the show would be new. And I'd wrote a few songs. I played one. And Ashley's like, oh, I like the lyrics in this one. I said, well, I hope you remember what they were because that's not what was written down. I just made it up on the spot.
Sometimes that's where the best ones come from.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's my songwriting process. To be fair, I just
Play it and hope.
Yeah, I just warble on words, and then every now and then I'll say some line that kind of.
There's nothing worse than when
Yeah.
you write a perfect line. You go, that's mint. Get a pen and go.
And then it's gone. Yeah.
wasn't quite because it wasn't like what you said, it was like how you said it.
Yeah, it was the phrasing.
It's the specific phrasing, and you think
I think that was like perfect. That's like Damien Rice standard writing, and then you write it down and go. That's like Declan Rice standard writing. No offense, Declan Rice. He might be really good at at writing songs.
John doesn't get that trouble though. He just. Do you? I mean, how do you actually? I mean, I know this is technically the question and that the what would you rather kind of thingy, but how do you start writing a song? Do you just get a guitar together and just start writing the riffs and stuff?
I tend to write on loops. So sometimes I'll
clever,
start
that.
with a drum
Yeah.
loop, or it'll be a chord progression or a riff. But then I'll have something looping and recording at the same time,
Does it
and I
irritate
record
you?
every loop, and then when something comes out that sounded good, you can go back and it's there and you don't lose it. You know.
That's
So-
clever. That
Does
is
it irritate
clever.
you when you use your loop? So I've done that a few times where I'm trying to write a song, but then I get sick of hearing the same loop. I'm like, shut up, right? Okay, I just need to think of the next bit. But you're piling on it, and you're like, it's nearly there, but I can't be asked to listen to it anymore.
Yeah, I know
Kinda
what you
make
mean. If
myself
you've been
sick
on
of the
something for
song.
ages and you know there's something in it, but you can't quite
Yeah.
get it out. Yeah, I think the best technique is just never to spend too long on something. Like while it's fresh and it feels good, do it. And then as soon as you start getting frustrated, save it, put it to one side, and do something else. That's kind of my technique anyway.
That's quite clever.
Yeah.
And then I just end up with like hard drives full of like ideas.
Yeah.
And then like a lot of the riffs, like some of the stuff on the new record that's coming out, I've had for years knocking about. And then it's like, right, I'm going to take that riff, loop it, and turn it into something, and then it
That's-
finally
yeah.
becomes a song. You know.
Best way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've got unlimited amount of songs almost. If you've got like if you just take little bits from previous
Yeah,
ideas.
that's it.
Then
And sometimes you need
yeah.
something of a certain vibe, and you can't think of anything, and then you're like, oh, I've got that riff that never became anything.
And
So
then now it's something, isn't
like
it?
some of the new songs are stuff that I wrote years ago that I've just kind of like torn apart and taken the good bits and then made something that's better, hopefully,
That's
than
cool.
it used to be.
That's cool. We should be talking about this in the third part.
Well, I was just about to
Alright.
say,
Yeah.
I'm going to get another drink.
I think I'm going to get another drink as well.
Also, what I think when this podcast comes out on Tuesday, if we make a list of who our festival thing will be, and we'll advertise it, and we'll tag the bands and go, you would be in our off the stage.
Yeah,
fest."
that's a good point. Yeah.
Make that, and then people can chuck their own in.
Yeah.
Let us know who you'd have in your festival. Anybody we've missed, anybody you want on the podcast, let us know.
Yeah. And we'll put them in the festival. I mean, the podcast.
Might be getting Ollie Murs soon. Who knows?
Yeah.
Trying now. I have to see him in
Yeah.
person in a couple of weeks. And we're like, can you at least just record a little jingle for her?
Are you going to be like one of those schoolgirls get
Yes. Wait, look.
shaken kind of. Can you sign
I've got
Okay,
the lyrics
it's
tattooed. You owe me a jingle.
What song's that from?
It's like one of his on his album. There's a song called "Change Is Gonna Come." It's we've learned to walk, but now it's time to run.
Ooh.
And change is gonna come.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's not, but it's mine. So I'll be like, you owe me a jingle.
Yeah, you should. I should say that actually. Then we'll get like, I'm Ollie Murs and you're listening to Off the Stage podcast.
And if not, we'll just use that and pretend it was him.
Yeah.
With the James Berry accent.
Yeah. I don't even know what Ollie Murs sounds like. Where's he from?
Essex.
Essex. Essex. Oh, I can't do an Essex accent.
Go on, give
You
that
can
a
do
try.
a cat can do an Essex accent. You's from Essex, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in Essex.
Really?
Cat grew up in Essex.
Wouldn't have
Yeah.
known.
Like, it comes out when I'm drunk.
Yeah, it comes out when you honestly.
Well, we're gonna get Kat another couple of drinks,
Yeah.
and we're gonna listen to Tag on the Essex.
I'm
Didn't
gonna
know
hear
how
how
to
she
do it.
says.
I don't know what the hell that was. Essex, brav.
Essex, yeah.
It's something like that, innit?
Eat brav.
You need brav.
Does it say like gew? instead of
Gew,
brav?
gew.
So it's like
Gew.
You know the
It's
gew.
W's instead of L's, isn't it?
Yeah, gew, gew.
Go.
I should have watched The Only Way is Essex more than I would have been able to nail down the end.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
I did not. I might have done a few rounds.
Fan of Towie.
Do you want me to
Bye-bye. Bye. Something like that, wasn't it? That was Bobby.
See you in part 3.
Yeah, on that note, yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye. Honestly, I miss that button all the time, and then you miss it that time.
I pressed it though, I don't
I
get
don't
it.
feel as silly now. Constantly missing it. Just a quick.
back to Off the Stage podcast with James Berry.
Yes.
Sorry, just a quick.
Just a quick warning. We are expecting food imminently.
Yeah, about 2 parts ago.
So yeah. So we'll see if it arrives later on. Who knows? Yeah, it was about 2 hours ago, wasn't it, when we ordered it? Never mind. They did say it was going to be a long wait.
We've
so-
done that with when we had Dan in a couple weeks ago. My
Yeah.
chicken arrived on the 3rd part. and I
Yeah,
just
that did I.
Nibble
so-
away. I just turned my microphone off.
It's fine. It's back on now.
It is now,
Right,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, so welcome back to side 3, the final part, where we ask John, what you've got the theme now, isn't it? It's like we ask John
I've got
about
a crack
his
instruction now.
Yeah, about his music and about his latest release, isn't it? And his
There you
gigs
go.
coming up.
So yeah, the way we structured it, 4 parts. Part 1, introduction. Part 2, just random chit chat. Part 3 is gigs coming up, releases coming up. Part 4 is obviously the song.
Mm-hmm.
We might not get to record that at the ISIS today because the main room's been taken up, but like I said,
I'll
we'll
just
get
do it
something sent
tomorrow.
over.
Like, it'll happen one way or another.
Yeah. Well, it will be on the end of this episode unless James is slacking.
Well, there is. I've just been asked. We should have put this in part 2. You should have asked this. Kat's asked the question. Just a quick one before we go into it. John, what is your favourite Christmas film? It is quite a Christmas theme album, so I know to put you on the spot.
Christmas. I mean, what counts as a Christmas film?
Well, anything you want.
Right.
Like,
As much as Bruce Willis says that, I will accept that Die Hard isn't a Christmas film if you can accept Home Alone isn't.
I mean, from what I
It's the
remember,
same film, but different
it's-
age ratings.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
nothing Christmassy happens in it, right? It's just
It's around Christmas.
happens to be set in the winter.
Yeah,
It's
but it's
just
the same as Home Alone.
Well, you could argue Harry Potter is a Christmas film because
Christmas happens in it at
Christmas
some
happens
point.
every Harry Potter, and
They do
Harry
come
Potter
out
is
every
on now every single Christmas.
right.
You see Harry
Kind
Potter
of
on
get the
Christmas.
first one.
Yeah.
Because it's very Christmassy
Yeah.
based, he gets his invisibility cloak. But by the Deathly Hallows where he's running for his life, it's not quite Christmassy, it's just what's
it's-
happened 7
I mean,
years later.
Yeah, the older Christmas.
Yeah.
The
I'm
older.
just going to pre-warn you, James, if you don't move on quickly, you're in danger of this being a Harry Potter podcast. Kat's going to
Right,
take the microphone
okay.
off you and we're just going to chat.
Okay, move.
She's nodding in the background.
Although I tell you what, I watched the latest Christmas movie starring Lindsay Lohan. The
What's
other day,
that?
Falling for Christmas.
Okay.
So it's so the thing is she's called Sierra and she's like high maintenance, rich girl. You know, she gets everyone to do everything for her. Anyway, she falls off a cliff. She's in a ski resort. She falls off a cliff and she loses her memory.
Okay.
Right, and she's obviously like she wakes up in the hospital and she can't remember anything. So the doctors, think, well, this must be blunt force trauma. Lets her go with a complete stranger who she's never met before. He doesn't know who she is, but says, well, we'll take her. So anyway, Lindsay Lohan and her kidnapper slowly, they get into all sorts of, hilarity ensues, and they end up falling in love with each other. Then she remembers who she is, and yeah, it's fucking magical.
Not gonna lie, James.
4.5 out of 10.
Zoned out.
What,
Yes,
yeah,
that. Because my finger stuck to the glass and I started imagining what it'd be like to have Spider-Man powers. So I couldn't let go.
That's all right.
4.5 out of 10.
Yeah, fucking magical it was.
So it's not great then.
Well,
Yeah, 5.5. Are you meaning 4.5 out of 5?
no, out of 10, but
So less than half.
So it's not good enough to be.
well,
in the top.
it's a really shit Christmas. It's like shit but good.
All right.
It's a family friendly, happy one. Just Santa Claus sells chestnuts in the ski resort.
And he's got to make a living.
I know.
Someone's got to pay the elves.
It's mint, right? 4.5 out of 10. Honestly, you'll know if you see it. You'll know what I mean when I say it's fucking magical. But it's 4.5 out of 10. Anyway.
So you got a song coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, go on, James.
Yeah. I'll just be quiet now.
Turn your mic off.
Yeah. Your turn.
There you go.
Yeah.
It is actually
A whole record coming
Right.
out on the 21st.
What defines a record? Is it an EP, an album, or
It's an album, yeah.
how many tracks?
8 tracks this time.
Cool.
I normally I aim for 10 when
Yeah.
I make a record, but in this case, I had loads of ideas and I whittled it down to just like what I thought were the
Quality over quantity.
strongest ones. So I dropped quite a lot. It's ended up just being 8 tracks, but 8 tracks that I totally think are strong, like start to finish,
Yeah.
with like no filler tracks.
Yeah.
So,
Brilliant. What's the album called?
Soul Nostalgia,
Yeah.
Ooh,
And when is it out?
the 21st, winter solstice. So
it's
focus
out
on-
in next
A
week.
week
It's
tomorrow.
a week after next, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the next Wednesday.
Can it be pre-ordered or like pre-saved?
Yeah. There's I'll stick it on Instagram and
If you
stuff.
send
but
us the
there's
link, we'll chuck that in
Yeah,
and
cool.
stuff.
There's a pre-save link.
Yeah.
So
Excuse me, sorry, I'm burping on the mic.
What's the one thing I've never. I mean, was Darren Holmes talking about this? Well, the whole thing with pre-saves. What's that like? How do you do a pre-save? I've never got how you.
Click pre-save it, and then when it comes out, it's
it's from your distributor. So I use DistroKid to distribute, and they'll put it on all the platforms, and then they
if you-
generate like a pre-save thing, which
right.
like if people click the link, it gives you like a reminder when it comes out, and basically puts it in your library on whatever.
Oh, so
platform
that's
you're using.
that's what I was wondering. Why would I want to pre? That's why, because it's So it basically it saves into your. So you click the pre-save, and when it comes out, it automatically adds to your library.
Yeah, so it'll like tell you it's
Yeah.
out and stick it in your Spotify,
Right, okay.
YouTube, whatever.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Right, okay. See, I'm trying to learn things. You see, for when I slowly release
Yeah, when
my
you're-
eventual album after 8 years of
wasn't
not
our
releasing
food.
anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was watching food. That wasn't our food.
No, it's yeah. I was imminent. I reckon it better be anyway. I'm flipping starving.
Yes, I've only had food an hour ago. We did. We ate before it came out. I'm just fat. So yeah, album's coming out. Is there any release gigs with it? Anything you're thinking of like pushing with the album or?
If anything, it'll be a live stream. It's a possibility. It'll be announced if it becomes a reality.
Yeah, but nothing yet.
But otherwise, it's just the release.
I was going to say, because you do like with what you're going to be showing is, if we can get into the other room,
Yeah.
is you do the looping.
Yeah, well, either way, I'm going to video this. So
Yeah.
if we can't get in the room with the PA,
Yeah.
I'll just do it.
We'll
and send it to you.
work it out. Aye.
But yeah, I've worked out. I mean, it's not normally a live project. I just do it in the studio. But with it being loop based,
You can
Yeah.
you can do it. Aye.
I've sort of worked out a way with like working from the recording project, but where I'm playing live, and then it loops the parts, and then automation changes the amp sounds, and then you can get through a whole track.
So is that on the laptop you do that?
Yes, I'm like playing with Cubase and
That's clever.
various instruments within Cubase. Yeah.
So I've never understood how. I mean, obviously you could probably spend an extra hour explaining how the hell to do that on Cubase. To be
Yeah,
fair,
it's a
but-
deep dive.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gotta say. But that's dead interesting. So it's not. There's no like, because obviously you do the loop and stuff, but you do it with the pedals and stuff. He does it with the.
If you bought Ed Sheeran on Wish, I'd appear. Pretty much.
It just shows it's too. So what's the advantage of doing it on Cubase then compared to doing it just like live via like a loop pedal?
So the reason for this is because I'm playing with the project. So obviously there's drums and bass on there.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I'm playing like a full song, but I do the guitar parts and build it up as a loop with various amps and things like that.
Oh,
but the
so
drums and bass are pre-recorded takes. So if it was live, it would either have to be 3 guitar players, or the show would run to click and it would be looped that way.
That makes sense. And that sense with if you're doing it just on a loop pedal, you'll not be able to model the different guitars and stuff.
Yeah, so there's more stuff happening because obviously in Yuma I do like the live looping thing, just using the Ditto, the 1-button looper. But this is more like there's more preparation beforehand.
Yeah.
So I've automated all the amp sounds for the guitar tones, and then when it loops, it's like swapping between tracks depending on the section of the song. So you'll see in the video, like whether it's today or tomorrow, you see how it works. But it means that you can get all the guitar tones in one take. So you like loop the riff, that happens, then your amp changes automatically to the lead tone. You play on the riff, you know.
Well, that makes sense because I remember it must have been a few weeks ago now where someone dropped off, so because you mentioned ages ago that you want to come on the podcast. I was like, we've got a dropout. Can you come in last minute?
Yeah,
like
I hadn't figured it out at that point. So then I got on it, and
yeah.
like I've got it all worked out now.
Yeah.
It took some sussing out.
I was gonna say that makes sense. Like that's
So when people like release an album, they tend to do like a couple singles out first.
Yeah.
Have you got any singles to come out after the album or with it, or you just
Before?
do an
Yes,
album?
yeah.
What's
So I'm
coming
gonna
out?
release the first 2 tracks as videos.
Right.
First, and then the rest of it comes out as block on the 21st.
When are the videos coming out?
I haven't actually decided yet, but
Some
just
point between
between
21st.
now and the release, I'll stagger them. But I've got to. My friend's got a media company, Wild Blood Media. He films surfing and that primarily.
Yeah.
But he does lots of like glitched visual stuff, which totally goes with my aesthetic.
Yeah.
So he's done 2. They're kind of like visual responses to the music. It's not like images you would recognize as a thing. It's kind of like fractal stuff that goes with the music. So for the first 2 tracks off the record, so they'll be coming out on YouTube and it'll all be on Instagram and all the rest of it prior to the release. And then the rest of it, all the songs come out obviously on the 21st.
So because this comes out next week. No, it comes.
When this comes out,
this comes out today.
It'll be 1 more week till.
So it's
So one of the videos might be out.
Yeah, one of the videos will be out.
listen.
But if you're listening and check out Ebb, you have to tell us your Instagram.
Yeah, I'll do that now actually.
Yeah.
So I just use my own Instagram, which is John Timney Music, where I cover everything really, like all my depth and my covers, gigs and that. But then my solo project obviously is just me, and I'd sort of messed with having a separate Instagram. But it's a hassle to maintain.
Yeah, honestly, I know that feeling completely. And you've already got the presence.
I've already got the presence on that one, so I just kind of use it as a blanket for everything.
You might as well, because otherwise, if you did Ebb, you'd probably get quite pop, but you'll never get as much because you can advertise so much. And the more thing is with the social media, the more you post, the more the algorithm tells people
that's
like
it. It's better just to focus it into one
thing,
and then people can go through that to my specific Spotify and whatever for that music, but I just use it for everything. So that's where to find.
Tell you what,
anyway.
have you got a link tree?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I'll link your link tree as well.
It's in my bio on. So from my Instagram, that'll take you to all the platforms: Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple, whatever anyone uses. And then I've got like all my digital art and stuff on Redbubble from there. All the album art, all the. This is something that came up the other day. People asking why I don't do t-shirts and that, and I do like the whole merch thing.
Oh, nice.
But I don't do print runs because it's expensive. And
sorry.
Yeah, we'll wait till you get this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's all right.
Oh,
Looks good.
Yeah, that'd be mine. Thank you so much, man. Cheers. Oh, look at that. And I think we both had. I ordered fries as well.
Sorry, they'll come.
That was yours. We've got one. Yeah.
You and Kat had the exact same order.
Kat had the same order, and Kat's the only one without her order. Do you want mine? And then
I love the fact we're still on a podcast.
I know.
You can edit this.
No, I'd rather we don't.
I'd rather. Do you want mine? And I'll wait for. Are you sure? Well, because I'm in the middle of.
So do you have
want mine.
a favourite song on the album?
Yeah, that's a hard question, but yeah, I probably do.
Yeah.
On my album, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which one? What's it called?
Probably track 5, a track called The Cynic.
Okay.
Kind of because that was the gap I had as I write the tunes. I kind of have an order that
Hope
forms
that,
as I go.
James, turn your mic off. We're
And,
talking.
I was going to say.
Fingers are too slippery.
I hope they haven't forgotten about my order.
It'll be coming, Matt. It'll be coming.
Oh no, that.
There you go.
Yeah. That'd be.
Sorry.
I gave
go on.
Kat mine because I was in the middle of. But just put that there. Cheers, mate. That'd be. Yeah. That's spot on. Thank you. Right, so, honey, would you rather have the garlic or the sriracha? Oh, she's eating that one, so it's all right. Sorry, John.
The best
I
local
realised
music podcast in the
it's
North
so, I don't know. I realised I was so rude there, but I'm just very hungry. So
You're starving at this point.
yeah,
You're being a really terrible host.
I've been a very terrible host. I do apologise.
James already broke this up, so I am too now.
She wants a slice for a chicken. No, maybe
Actually, man, I'm working.
John, would you like
That's a fair trade.
I think that's a fair trade. I would.
John, would you like
Hurry
some
up.
chicken?
I'm good. I don't eat meat, but
If this isn't your favourite part of the podcast, guys, I just want
Would you like a chip, John?
I'm all good.
Please
thank
tell
you.
your friends to. No, that's fine. Please tell your friends and family to follow Off the Stage. We are the best local North East music podcast.
I'm doing food reviews next week. Yeah.
I think you'd be good at that.
I think that'd be alright, actually.
Pull the skin off it.
4.5 out of 10.
I think we've covered everything.
Nearly.
Yeah.
So, favourite track's The Cynic, you see.
Yeah, just the reason being that I wrote that last, and normally that would be the weakest track if you feel like you force write it to fill a gap.
Yeah.
But it just somehow came together as quite a powerful track, and it's like the freshest one because some of them I wrote like more than a year ago.
Yeah.
That one was written just right before I finished the album, but I guess it's just because it's new and interesting to me. But like that ended up being my favourite one.
So, how do you put a track order together in an album? So, for example, when I do mine, I kind of like, I try to open with something catchy.
Yeah,
And then
totally.
I try to put some kind of anthem in early, and I try to finish on like a slow song that's like, oh, that was a
Yeah, there's always a structure to it, isn't it? Yeah,
But
so
how do
the
you
close
do
is
yours
always the
with the-
slower one, and you want to open with a strong track, and
Yeah.
then there's always kind of a formula to it. But it's for vibe and flow for me. So
So I think it's Damien Rice, he has one where the end of every song ends on the note that starts the next song.
yeah, I
like
do a
it. That
bit
was
of
like a
that.
similar
I do a
kind of
bit
thing.
of like mapping them together
Yeah.
with tempo changes and things like that, so they blend between. But like it's kind of a dying art, isn't it? Because in like the world of
Absolutely gotta
playlists
say, yeah.
and that, nobody listens to an album start to finish. But
I mean, to be fair, I still.
Would you
do,
like a slice?
'cause
I feel
think-
like we've just started eating and you're...
I'm all
Are you
good,
sure?
honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, it is in a way, which is a shame.
But it's like when I was getting into music, you'd buy a CD and you would just listen to that over and over again, start to
Yeah.
finish. And it mattered like the order of the tracks and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's it.
But you're more likely to be heard on a playlist now, aren't you, than someone put your record on like from start to finish.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I guess one thing Spotify does do right is if you click on an album, you can just click the play and it'll play it throughout. It doesn't shuffle.
Oh yeah, you can listen to them. But it's more about how people discover and how people listen to
Yeah.
music is generally playlists.
It's different now.
But in a way, it means that you have to make sure that every single track is strong because any single one might be heard in isolation. It might not be heard as part of the whole.
Yeah.
So they all have to stand up like alone because that might be how
yeah.
people find them. So it does. If you think in that way, it makes it up your game a bit and make every track representative of
Yeah, because
what you are.
Because otherwise, you could but track that individually. Because I know I'm sure I've had like toyed with the idea of doing this every now and then, where it's like I'll put a little 30-second stint of it'll make sense if you put it in order.
Yeah.
But if someone's just playing a random thing and this 30-second thing comes up between like Metallica and Slipknot,
Yeah,
you'd be like, what
totally.
the hell?
I've done that on previous albums, like little vignettes, little
Yeah,
transitions.
vignettes is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but then if it comes up on shuffle, it's kind of disruptive,
Yeah.
isn't it? But yeah, I used to do that a lot. This album, I was really focused on just flow and keeping it fun, and like there's hardly any track gaps. It's like bang, bang, bang,
Yeah.
track, you know, straight into each other.
You'd almost like not realise there's 2 songs playing.
Yeah, totally. It's like the whole record is only 34 minutes. It's the shortest one I've ever done. It's just straight back to back, like
That's what you want, though,
just
innit?
gets
Like,
it done.
yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Nah, I'll have to. That's about the time it takes me to get to work. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's good.
just
Like
have to
just
make
a
sure.
commute soundtrack.
That'd be pretty cool,
Yeah.
actually.
Do you have any projects for next year? Whether
With-
it's album or gigs or anything.
So with this project, the next thing that I've been sort of toying with is just another EP. I do occasional EPs that are like tangents from the main records. Like the last one I did was called the Ether EP a few years ago now. And the sort of like parameters that I set for that were to write and record each song in a day, because I normally spend like, I mean, this record's taken a year, this last one.
Yeah.
So that last EP, I would write and record a song, whatever it was, that's it done. Next one, you know, and each one was a day. Then I mastered it and put it out. So the next little EP plan that I have is a collaborations one, where it'll be like 4 or 5 tracks. But instead of having like a feature like some of my tracks do, it'll be a full co-write with somebody. So I've got a few people on board
Cool.
to do that. So that's the next thing, but I'll let this one settle first.
Yeah.
I won't be too hard on the heels of it with anything else, you know.
That's because you're a busy guy in terms of like gigs and stuff. So it's
Because
it's always
with
hard to
everything
find
else, like my solo stuff just happens. It's always on the back burner, you know. It's
Yeah.
just when I have time.
it. Yeah, it's always the bloody thing, isn't it? It's like the things you want to do. It's like you never have time.
Yeah,
I'm sure I saw there's a picture before. It was like it was a time energy scale where you had like
When you're younger, you've got all the time and energy, no money.
Yeah.
time
When
energy,
you're
money, all the time energy.
When you're
money.
older, you've got money and energy, but no time. When you're
and now
older,
I've just
you've
got no money and no time.
and no energy.
That's being a professional musician.
That's how we like it. We don't like it, but you know.
We get paid well, but we spend that well pay on equipment.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you never actually see the money, do you?
All my money goes on guitar strings.
God, yeah.
As well, yeah.
I'm only snapping once a week now.
That's
It's like every 10 gigs.
Really?
Getting there.
What strings are you using?
All of them. we had a Elixir's 12s, went up to Elixir's 13s.
Oh, really?
I'm now on Diadro's new special Super Don't Snap strings.
Yeah, super don't snap.
And I snapped 2 D strings in one gig.
Really?
So-
I was having this problem like I was using Martin strings and I was restringing every
Martins, I
couple
went
of
through-
weeks, which is like 6 gigs maybe.
Yeah, no, I went through 6 packets of Martin strings in 1 week.
Jesus. I switched to Elixir 11s and now I can get through maybe 4 months before something snaps, which is like a lot of gigs. So
I can get through 4 months before my guitar snaps. But but no, I got the point the other day where I snapped 2 D strings and I realised I didn't have a spare, so I had to add a G string and detune it.
Oh man, two in a gig is bad. I mean, that suggests it might be something like your bridge needs filing.
it's me.
like,
It's definitely me.
There's
It's just,
something.
yeah.
My record is 8 in 1 gig.
Whoa! Or like, what picks are you using? Using like
I've
metal.
dropped them down as well.
Like maybe use some bendy
I've
effects.
snapped strings doing a finger picking fast car.
Really?
That's why you keep asking me to do the duos with you and filthies, because you keep.
Can you do that while I restring?
So you know when you got some backup every
Yeah,
time
like
you snap
when
the
one
string.
goes.
So you
Half the
don't-
gigs is me harmonise, just going don't snap. Yeah, I think I'm just heavy-handed, but too heavy-handed. It's also because
Well,
when
it
I do the loop
happens.
pedal, when I drum, obviously you drum over the bridge.
Yes.
And it
that's
obviously
gonna
it
break it.
cuts
That's what
that
I
against
thought
the
it was.
bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I only tend to snap them after I've done like, you know, when you're playing your palm slap to make the bass sound.
Yeah.
That's why that's where I think you snap them. I reckon
right.
it's because you're hitting them and it's like it's almost bending them.
Yeah.
And that's weakening them.
Absolutely.
That's
But
my theory anyway.
That's what I said actually, because everyone's like, oh, you keep snapping strings, that's not very good. I was like, yeah, but if it's because of that always puts on a good show. I'm like, if I snap a string, I've done something right.
I guess it means that you're
That makes
doing,
sense.
you're playing
It's
hard.
a proper
like,
energetic, like,
Yeah.
I know it's different genres, but obviously mine's more singer-song like Ed Sheeran, basically.
Yeah.
But I understand the whole making an emotion out of the music.
Yeah.
Like, Ashley should come up and sing Zombie by the Cranberries, but I do like an entire instrumental bit just on guitar before she gets back to the chorus.
Yeah.
And you can hear the crowd building up to that as well, and it
Yeah.
fills the song
And
out.
there are some things where you just have to hit it with a certain like commitment, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fun.
Right, I think I reckon that's a
Part 3.
Part 3.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get you playing like if if we can get you playing,
I doubt it, they're still in there.
Yeah, but anyway, what song are you going to be playing?
Track 2, Anasazi, just literally because it's the shortest, snappiest track on the whole thing. It's 2.5 minutes long. It's just riff after riff. So it's the first one that I worked out with this whole automated looping thing, and it works really well for that track. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
We'll see what's happening, but if not, if you can,
I'll just get it filmed and send it in. It's all figured out. So I just need to get it done.
It's just a shame I can't do it live how I would like it, but
it's good to see it's busy in here though. Isn't it?
Them's the breaks at times, Them's the breaks.
So if you've enjoyed the podcast, if you're listening to us on Spotify, leave us reviews. If you haven't enjoyed it, leave us a positive review and just don't listen to us again. If you're on YouTube, if you've stumbled across it, like and subscribe, do that usual thing. We hit 50 subscribers yesterday.
That's good.
But like our last couple videos are also over the 200 views. So if you're viewing it, subscribe.
Yeah.
You can find us on Off the Stage UK, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, email offthestageuk@gmail.com. Off the Stage 2 on Twitter.
Yep.
We are trying to be more active on social media, but we just don't have any good ideas. Check out TikTok as well. I've just done a quick video of we're on everything, but we don't use it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I've just done a video of James's HMV gig. Excuse me, which was
like that one. I enjoyed
pretty good. It's been good. If you know any musicians you want on the pod, let us know. We've somehow in the breaks managed to pull out another band to come on the podcast. I'm gonna go because I've got half a pizza to eat.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna go because I got.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sure we'll have you on in the new year. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Alonzi.
Thank you.
Thanks, lad.